Hello and welcome to Whisky Resource. My name's Mark. This is Whisky Review number 32. And today I'm going to be looking at a 12-year-old whisky. I've moved on from me 10-year-olds on 12-year-olds. There are a few 10s that I might be going back to and doing later on, but I'm going to be hitting some 12s and some older ones for the time being. So I'm going to be starting with what would be classed as a beginner single malt, the Glenfiddich 12-year-old. I've never bought a full-size bottle of any of the Glenfiddichs. I've always bought the miniatures, the tasting packs. I've got up there quite a few of these miniatures that I picked up that were on offer. So this is their signature malt. With regards to beginner whiskies, if you're starting out drinking whiskey for the first time and you want to get your bearings around different whiskies, then if you go visit my website, which is whiskyresource.com, if you go to the top right corner, there's a search option. If you click on search, and if you go to the search box that appears on the screen, and you can type in the word beginner, and if you type in beginner, it'll list all the whiskies that's currently listed on the website that are classed as a beginner whisky. So a beginner whisky invariably tends to be whiskies that have no smoke influence at all, no smoke. They tend to be sitting at 40% ABV. There are a few that might sit at 43, but they tend to sit at 40 to 43% ABV. They tend to have no strong flavour characteristics, such as smoke, as I mentioned. They tend to be easygoing, sippable, enjoyable malts as an introductory taste to whiskey. Likewise, you can type in intermediate and it'll list all those whiskies that might be above 43% ABV to 46, let's say. There may be a little bit of peat smoke in there or some of the stronger flavours, so they'll all be listed. And then after that, you're then looking at what will be classed as an advanced whisky. So again, you can type in the word advanced and that'll then come up with those whiskies that maybe are sitting at 46% ABV up to cask strength. That would include single cask offerings of whiskies, as well as those heavily peated whiskies such as the Ardbeg, the Lafroig, the Lagavulin. Okay, so it's just one of those things that my site does, and as I add more and more whiskies to the site, that list will get bigger. Okay, there are going to be additional features will be rolled out in the future, but that for now is quite a good way to uncover beginner whiskies. Okay, so onto this particular whisky, which is the Glenfiddich 12-year-old. So this is a whisky that's been released by William Grant and Sons, the owner, family-owned owner of the Glenfiddich line of whiskies. They also own their own Grant line of whisky that comes in a similar triangular-shaped bottle, which is very distinctive of that particular family bottling. Glenfiddich, it's a Speyside single malt. It's bottled at 40% ABV. It is chill filtered. Does have added colour. Okay, so I'm just going to open it and I'm going to show you the colour of it because it is quite pale. And that's that aroma straight away out of the glass. So it is quite pale still, but it does have that added colour. Now the reason I add colour to it is for batch consistency. If you can imagine the bottling tens of thousands of litres of this stuff for marketing around the world, and they want to make sure that a bottle that has been created today is the same as one that was created last year or the year before or next year, so they've got consistency across the blends, across the batches rather. So that's why they add colour to it. That's also why they chill filter it, so that you get that consistency, and there's nothing wrong with that. The issue comes when they don't go ahead, and it's not just the Glenfiddich range that do this. They don't say on the bottle whether it's chill filtered or whether it's got colour. Just that piece of information is useful to know. But hey, we're not here for that. At the beginner level, we're not here for that. The Glenfiddich 12-year-old, well, it comes in a variety of sizes. It's actually a massive range. It comes in the miniature, the 50ml. It comes in a 200ml bottle. It comes in a 350ml, which would be a half bottle. It comes in the 700ml bottle. And you can also pick it up in a 500ml bottle. Now, I do believe For other markets, they provide a litre bottle as well. So it's definitely a beginner. In terms of average price, it retails for £32.58 as an average. As a value score, we give it 84.39 out of 100 for value for money. Okay, now whilst it's 34.58 as an average price for a 700ml bottle, it is often on offer online and in supermarkets. You can typically pick it up for around about £25 when it is on its best deal. So it's definitely worth considering purchasing at those kind of prices if you're looking for a really, really good beginner whiskey, because the Glenfiddich does hit that beginner level. And it tends to come in a really, it's actually been a recently restyled bottle. The label's changed and the actual tube that it comes in has been rebranded. They've kind of flattened the image to make it less three-dimensional than it was previously. The colour is classed as golden, according to their notes. And it is a bourbon, ex-bourbon and ex-sherry matured whiskey. So it's a blend of the two cask types. So what we're getting on the nose? Well, it's very fruity. It's very crisp, very inviting. I'm getting notes of apple and pear. It's a little bit honeyed, a little bit vanilla on the palate. The first thing that strikes you is the sweetness. It is one of the sweeter single malts that you'll come across. It's fruity. Those apple and pear notes continue through on the palate. It's creamy. It's got a little bit of malt running through there. The creaminess and the vanilla combined kind of offer up a butterscotchy flavour. And on the finish, it dries, it gets bitter with that oak, that nice oak finish to it. It is a really, really outstanding beginner whiskey, this. For an experienced palate, an intermediate palate, it's not particularly challenging at all. It's a really easy sipper. It doesn't develop much more than this. I wouldn't say there's any point adding water. There's a slight bit of maybe damp hay as well runs through it. It's really nice. It is nice whiskey. And for beginners, you're not going to find many beginner whiskies as enjoyable as this. The balance between that bourbon maturation and the sherry maturation casks is incredible. No one of those casks dominates. If I had to choose one, I'd say it's probably the bourbon side that probably has the edge, because it's offering up the creaminess, the vanilla, and the pear, particularly with that oak. In terms of an overall score, it's an 87. It is, it is an outstanding 12-year-old whiskey, and for the life of me, I really do not know why I've never actually gone ahead and bought a full-size bottle of this. I think it's because I've got such an incredible offer on the minis that I paid less in minis than I did for a whole bottle. So that's probably the answer to the question. So there's no point asking it. So that's it, Glenfiddich 12-year-old single malt whiskey. You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong with a bottle of this. Definitely one that I will always have available. Good night.